Good morning. My name is Scott James Stewart. Hopefully, this will act as testimony in the matter concerning Derek Oplong Alinda's final will and testament that was in effect at the time of his tragic death. It was brought by Daniel Alinda and family against Scott James and Claudia Stewart, my wife, and myself. The matter in question is whether there was ever $50,000 ever set up as per Derek's final will and testament. And there's basically three components to that, in my estimation. One was the final will in effect at the time of Derek's death. The answer is yes. Two, was an account as per the will ever set up as per Derek's final wishes? The answer is yes, sir. Twice. Once in Elk Grove, California. There's a joint account still existing in Wells Fargo in Elk Grove, California. You will notice that the will does not designate where the account need be, and that the denomination that Derek wanted within the account is in dollars and not in CDs. So I surmise that having an account here, which is easy for me to administer, was appropriate. However, there's a third party in this matter that you need to be aware of, Your Honor, and that is a man named Maurice Umpah. I'm sure you've probably met him. He's a famous attorney of Accra, and supposedly a holy man. That being a hypocrite is what he is. This man was supposedly a lifelong friend and acting attorney for Derek Oplong Alinda, and oversaw Derek's wishes and wrote them down and put together that will, which is poorly written, but does designate the amount of gold that's in the security company and what was to be done by Claudia and her to-be husband. Maurice Umpah is a scoundrel, as well as Daniel and the family are reprehensible, sir. There is absolutely no excuse for this. This action should never have been brought. What should be happening is Daniel Alinda should be helping his niece probate and execute the will. And why he's not doing that, sir, I have no understanding. I think what he's doing is reprehensible. I think what the family is doing is reprehensible. And Maurice, having stolen the money in a manner that I'll tell you of here now, is also unbelievably reprehensible. This man, Maurice Umpah, was supposed to be a lifelong friend. And by the way, very importantly, the father figure of Claudia actually absconded with the money and didn't do what he was warranted to do, and actually set this whole thing up for the money to be stolen and not to be deposited in the following manner. When I first heard that we needed to have an account set up in my and Claudia's name, that had already been done, or was to be done anyway, in Elk Grove, California. And so that was fine with me, but I said, well, the account already exists. And Maurice said, no, my friend, you have to set it up in Accra. And I said, well, Maurice, there's no statement inside the will where it need be. He said, well, I happen to know. This is Maurice Umpah speaking. I happen to know, you must trust me in this, I happen to know that he envisioned it in Accra, so we need to move the money to Accra. And I said, okay, great. Well, then I'll just wire the money to an account you guys set up. So he didn't comment on that, but he did. I did send money, the last of which was $7,000 that Claudia had in cash, and I told Maurice that they should go set up an account with it, which Claudia and Maurice did in the Fidelity National Bank, and we were setting that up in order to send the rest of the money as per Maurice Umpaugh's dictation on behalf of Claudia and myself. I sent the money in three parts. I sent it in $17,950, $25,000, and $15,000 as per Maurice to go into the account there in Accra, Ghana. When I sent the 17,000, well, it's basically 18,000, sir, just a few dollars shy of that. The idea was that they would take the money physically walking in the front door with Maurice acting in my stead. During the process of actually gathering the cash to walk it in the front door, Claudia got overwhelmed with sadness and decided that since we couldn't do it together, she would simply go home and Maurice could go deposit the money. You got to realize that Maurice Umpaugh was a position, or in a position of authority here, and was a father figure to Claudia all her adult life. So she trusted him implicitly, and she told me to trust him implicitly. And I asked her many times if she knew what he was doing and agreed with what he was doing, and she said, he's a very smart man, he's a very honest man, do what he tells you. So that's what I did. I love that woman more than you can possibly imagine, and I did exactly what she tells me to do, or told me to do, and that was to follow Maurice's instructions. During the time that the money was being gathered together to be taken into the front door of Fidelity National Title, Claudia goes home, and Maurice continues to do what he's doing, collecting the money. She sends me a text and says that it's done. The money's in the account, because she figured it was by now, or by the time she sent the text, because Maurice had had enough time. The reality of the situation, though, is Maurice did not go to the bank on that day. And so therefore the very nearly 18,000 and the 25,000 were in his possession overnight and then over the weekend. Some days just after that I had sent the 15,000. So the amount was more than 50,000 easily. The realities are, though, that, and you got to listen to this, Your Honor, this is where it really gets interesting. A book needs to be written about this. He found a woman who looked a great deal like Claudia, actually aided and assisted her in changing her name, the front name Claudia and the back name Stewart. In other words, she now carries my name. And they walked in the front door of the bank, she acting as Claudia, my Claudia, the true Claudia Olinda. But they didn't deposit the money, sir. They took the 7,000 that was in it and absconded with it, and are now in the wind, if you can imagine that. So that's the reason why the account doesn't exist in Accra. The second matter is, and it's very important, is was the money ever witnessed? And the answer is no, because Maurice Umpaugh, who actually set this whole matter up, in aiding Derek Olinda, Derek designated 3 designates to act as a witness when the time came. 2 of those designates, sir, are dead, no longer living. The last being Derek's mother, Granny, she is known as. Granny is too sick to witness the gold. She's been very ill, and I understand she's home now, but she's not doing very well. So she's incapable of witnessing, going down and signing anything because she's simply too ill to do it. So I'm asking you, sir, would you please be the designated witness of this account? You'll find all the paperwork there. The money was in uh, Elk Grove, California. It was sent to Acura because Claudia wanted to do as much of what her father envisioned as we possibly could do. And so Maurice was to act in my stead and go take the money and put it in the bank. And now you know what happened to it. The, the final thing I'd like to say, sir, is what's going on here with Daniel? He's obviously, Daniel and family, they have no say in this matter. They have no reason to bring this action other than pure greed. The fact that that Daniel has Derek's last name is not pertinent here. He should be helping my wife, sir, not obstructing. I sent Claudia and to ask him his assistance, and I found out later that he came to Claudia with some paperwork that would have effectively stolen what she inherited from her father. And the fact that Daniel has property in common has nothing to do with the gold whatsoever. He is not a designate, sir, and he's not representing one. He's incapable of doing that. As you know, without something in writing, he's simply there to obstruct. And the fact that he has his last name, he's hoping he gets his foot in the door for this matter to be heard. Well, it has been heard now. Daniel, if you can hear this, I'll deal with you later. You are a very, very dishonorable man. For you to do this is just beyond reason. You have no reason to obstruct in this matter. You should be assisting. If you're the family leader, you should be leading that family towards assistance, not obstruction. That's just unbelievably reprehensible. Your Honor, I ask and I pray that you will rule in this matter affirmatively on for Claudia and I. Give us full access to the gold. We've been trying to do exactly what Derek intended for months now, and we've been obstructed by the family. The What needs to be done, sir, is the will need to be probated. A The will, it needs to be executed by an executor of the estate. The properties need to be identified. There's a lot of things we don't know about where Derek's assets are, and the disposition of which, some of which we've seen uh, are degrading and are languishing, if you will. And we need to take care of that. There are some urgent matters in France that need to be taken care of. Obviously, Derek had debts at the time he died. Those debts need to be paid. We need to get the money and do that. That's probably the most important aspect of this, is who's going to pay Derek's debts. Well, that's me and Claudia. That's who's going to do it, because the family doesn't have the character to do it, sir. That's why Bones needs to come. My name is Bones. My nickname has been all my life. Scott James Stewart and Claudia Alinda Stewart will do what Derek wanted to be done in his absence. God rest his soul. Thank you, Warner. I would like to include in my request of you, sir, please include attorney's fees and court costs, because they have added up to be quite a bit of money, and we didn't bring this action nor ask for it. Thank you, sir. I hope to hear from you soon. Claudia, if you see this, and I'm sure you will, I love you so much. We'll get it done, get these people out of the way, and we'll continue on our way. I love you, honey. Talk to you later. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Good morning.